Getting a bit ahead of myself here, forgot to put camera on. Right, basically all I've done is I've got the end off the straight coupler, off the straight fitting, and fed it on to the hose, and then I wrapped a bit of masking tape around the hose. What I'm going to do now is use a thin cutting disc. I've seen videos where people say get a sharp set of side cutters and actually snip through, but I'm going to show you on the end of here. If you do that, see what's happening to the pipe inside, and that's not even putting any pressure on it yet. So when you snip it through, what you end up with is a non-round pipe inside, but you've actually stressed the sides of it. So I don't recommend doing that. I just cut it with a grinder. Once I've cut it, using a Stanley knife blade, I just scrape the inner edges just to take off any like burrs, if that's what you want to call it. And then before I do anything else, I'll put my airline on the other end and blow air through just to clear any dust out that's got inside. So just line it up. And don't be tempted to just pull that off, because there's still probably out of the stainless outer sheath holding. Take it through. You can just leave tape on for now. And I just had a Stanley knife blade, and I can't think where I've put it now. So I'll grab another one. I'll probably find that one later when it sticks in my leg or something. Right, just Stanley knife blade. I'm not trying to cut, I'm just putting it in and scraping. Do a check of that. I'm trying to do it so you could see it, and I can't see it properly myself. So right, so that's the centre cleaned out, but as you can see, you've still got a nice round pipe. So you won't be able to see this bit, but I'm just going to stick my airline on the other end of it, and any dust that or bits from the grinding that might have gone up the pipe, just blow it out. Try to watch my fingers on the braiding as well. Right, so that little blast of air will have blown any debris out of the end. So what I'll do now is I'll just take off this masking tape. Masking tape never just comes off straight forward. Right, so that's the masking tape off. Now the next thing you want to do is you've got this little olive to fit, but that has got to go obviously on the pipe on the inside but underneath the braiding, and it's very important that you don't get any of the strands of braiding inside the olive. If you get any on the inside, you'll have a leak. So the best way of doing this is just get a nice sharp pointy tool and just basically go around, open your braiding up. I'll show you this in a second. So open your braiding up. As you can see there, the braiding's all flared out at the end. And then get your olive and get it over the end of the inside of the pipe. So I haven't pushed that on yet, I've just shown, but double check before you push it all the way on that there's definitely no braiding gone on the inside of the olive. And then you can see down inside the olive, I mean you won't be able to see it on the camera, but I can see inside the hole. What I need to do now is basically tap this olive so it goes all the way on, so the pipe inside, the middle pipe, comes all the way to the end of this olive. So that's one thing I didn't get to start with, was my little toffee hammer. I'll use my nylon hammer. So get a good grip on the thing and then just I think I might need to get a light in that. Stick that in my toolbox. I'm just going to have a look down this olive. Right, I don't know, I'll show, but you probably won't be able to see it, but down inside that olive I can see that the inner pipe is up to the edge of the olive. So the next thing you want is bring the fitting up, get the straight connector and insert it. It'll be a tight fit. Just keep pushing it till it goes all the way in, like so, so that the olive's up to the, it's pushed basically up to the olive. And I'm just going to reroute this pipe because it keeps trying to twist on me. And then basically shove it on, screw the fitting up. Now the best way of doing this, I find, is grip the bolt part there, and I just use an adjustable on here, get it up tight, and then actually screw, line my spanner up on that, screw the, I'm just going to get this in a better position for myself. Right, screw the actual, fucking spanner keeps coming off. I usually do this stood up at a bench. So I've got rid of the spanner this time and just screw the banjo bit and just keep going until it's proper tight. And once you've got it proper tight, you'll find that it's nice and sealed. That's tight enough. So there you have a nice hose end fitted, nice and tight. So what I can do next is, I think you can see, just chuck that up there. I've got an old banjo bolt just to temporarily fit this on with, so I'll putting washers on as well. I've got plenty of these, so I can waste a couple. Get myself in a better position. Right, and I can start to put the banjo in, says he. Right, so that's now going in. When I'm happy with sort of the position, I'll just nip it up a bit. Probably gonna, don't know what size this is. Right. Right, I've just nipped that up. And what I can do now is sort of put it along where I'm going to sort of have it. I want it to go up the inside of the frame, really. Let's check that. Yeah, I'm happy enough with that. So I'll get what I'm going to do is I'm just going to guess this because it's on the reel. I could have fed it through properly, but it's on the reel. I'm just going to cut it off a little bit longer than it needs to be, and I'm just going to cut it straight off with the grinder. Because what that enables me to do is actually feed it on the route it's meant to take, up into its bracket. because then I can get a black marker, just mark basically where I want the cut, and then just basically do the same as what I've done on the front there. Bit of masking tape, well, feed the bit on first, bit of masking tape, flare it out, put the olive in, clamp it all together, tighten it up sort of thing, and then that is the line from the master cylinder to that T-piece that's got the brake light switch on. So when I've got to that stage, I'll bring you back, but I'll bring you back in a different position because we're going to start feeding the brake lines out to the rear calipers after that. So I'll be back, I'll be back soon. Right, put the other end on that, but what I've also done is I redid that end because I've made a frigging mistake. God knows what I was thinking. When I put that together, I was holding that end and turning that end. That's not how it's meant to be done. It should have been that way on, holding that end and screwing that end on. So what I did, because I'd cut this longer, I basically took that back apart, got a new olive, just cut the end off and redid it how it should be done. So you hold that part and screw that bit on. I don't know what I was thinking of when I did that first time. Obviously wasn't thinking about that. So anyways, brake line, first section of brake line done. So I'm just going to bolt this back on. Oh. I'll not nip it up yet. I'm just going to feed this through again, get it up through the frame. So that it's back in the position it was in, up under its clamp, and feed it in to this T-piece. I know you can't see what I'm actually doing at the minute, but I'll show you in a sec. Now, when I put this T-piece in, I'll sort of nip it, just finger tight, the fitting, that is, the brake fitting, but I won't tighten it up yet. I'll show you why in a second. I'll get another bit. Two-piece as well. Right, so the reason I'm not screwing it in tight, as you can see down in there, the bottom of that's like a taper, slight taper. Look on the end of that, it's got the sort of bulgy bit, the flared bit, if whatever you want to call it. Now when that goes in and you screw that in, when you nip it up tight, what it does is it squashes that bit there nice and tight inside the hole and seals. So I don't actually want to tighten them up as yet. So just thought I'd show that, just so you know why it's only finger tight. That, now that's in position again, I'll just nip that up a bit tighter, and what I'll do, I'll knock you off, I'll take you off camera and I'll show you down in this bit what I'm on about. So I'll be back in a minute. Right, you can just see that line just running through here, and it's going to come up into this T-piece, and you can see there's the brake light switch. That's where the original brake light switch bolts to, and I might actually lower that down onto that lower onto the lower hole. I just stuck it there, just temporary. I've got the play in there. I've got enough slack that I can pull it back that little bit to put it in that bottom hole. But what I've got to figure next is, do I come out of here with a straight like that, or do I put one of them ones that goes up 90, which would bring it up? I could bring it up underneath the I'm just going to move about a bit here so try and show a bit better. Yeah, bring the line up from in here, bring it up with the 90-degree bend and bring it out to here and put it on to a T-piece underneath the swing arm, and then if I show you it from the top, if I sort of mount the T-piece on here, or even on here, but underneath, bring the brake line through under here, and then bring the lines across underneath, clamped on properly, and I've repositioned this rear caliper as well, and I'm going to put the calipers there. Reason being, I can bring, as I say, bring the line underneath here, bring it out and across. I was watching the screen then rather than me. So basically I can come straight off the caliper and under there. All that moves, it would be like one piece in a sense. And then basically it leaves me with my handbrake cable to come off. And I'm indecisive as to bring that round and then like have the caliper, handbrake caliper up here somewhere, or just bring it up the way, but it'll all be free, as in it won't hit the inside of the wheel or out like that. But I've still got to, the reason I haven't put the hub back on yet is I've got to make a template up for the handbrake caliper when I decide 100% where I want it. Right, so the next bit, I've got to make another short piece of line up, as I say, to go from there up to the swing arm where it goes to the next T-piece to split off to the two calipers. So I'll knock it off again for now, get organised, and we'll make the next section of pipe up. Okay, I've been having a bit of a wheel of where to route these brake lines. Obviously you've got a swing arm. Let's turn this screen. You've got the swing arm, and obviously the swing arm's going to move up and down slightly. Now down in there is that T-piece that I've put the first brake line on, and I'm going to bring the line up. I don't know if you can see my finger waggling there. I'm going to bring it up and over the top of the pivot, back down under on this inside edge of this swing arm, and then I'll show you it on the top, but basically what it'll be is it's going to be on underneath the swing arm. So I'll have a brake line coming up out of here and going back down, so it comes over the top of the pivot bolt. In that way, when the swing arm's moving up and down, the brake line can move with it without snagging on anything. But then on the underside of here, I'm going to centrally drill and tap the the T-piece to fit underneath, and then where the brake line comes down underneath, if you imagine, obviously as I've already stated, this is going to be on the bottom side, it'll go down under there, across and loop, so it'll come across and loop into this, then I drill and tap a hole in the bottom side to mount this T-piece on, and then basically my brake lines can come across equally to each side caliper. Doing it that way, two things: if I need to take off the swing arm for any reason, hopefully I won't have to, but I mean obviously I will when I come to paint it. What I'm trying to do this year is, when this thing's sort of put together for the road, this is just going to be brush painted with like black smoothite as a temporary sort of a finish. Same with all the the axle. But then when it comes off road again for the winter, I'll take it all apart, clean it all off and paint it properly, because the rest of the bike's going to get a different paint job. Because I've basically fucked about, well, I say fucked about, I've had a few things to deal with over these past few months, etc. But yeah, one of the things I was sort of getting at is, by running the line up and over and back down under the swing arm, it allows me to basically undo the caliper banjo bolts, undo the clips that will be underneath here holding the brake lines, and I'll be able to take the swing arm out, and I won't have to break these joints on the T-pieces, because obviously once they're squashed and sealed, when you undo them, there's a good chance that when you tighten them back up again, they won't seal again. So, as I say, the way I'm going to route it over here is it'll allow it free movement when the swing arm's going up and down, and mounting it centrally, when the one line comes into two, you're looking at equal lengths out to the calipers. So it shouldn't make a difference even if I mounted it like there. It should still work both calipers, but to keep it nice and equal, you know you're going to get equal sort of pressure. So what I'm going to do first, before I do anything else, is I'm going to drill a hole under here and tap it out, and then bolt that T-piece into place under there. And remember, you won't sort of see it because there's going to be the huge rear mudguard on. So you won't, unless you stick your head right in, you won't be able to really see a lot of this. And also, where I was on about when I showed you this T-piece down here, and I said I might lower it down to that bottom hole, I've decided that I'm going to just leave it where it's at. Reason being, when the exhaust system goes on, it'll cover that anyway, you won't be able to see in there. And actually, talking about exhaust systems, I offered the Thunderheader system up to see if it would go on with this swing arm, and it won't. It's going to foul on the swing arm, so I've actually bought another exhaust system. That was the thing I couldn't remember the other day when I was sort of mentioning about bits and pieces that I'd bought. So I've basically bought like a short, sort of like Vance & Hines short shots, but they're not Vance & Hines. And where the Vance & Hines system sort of cuts off at like tapered, these are just two pipes flush, like shotguns sort of thing. But you'll see them when I get to that part of putting them on sort of thing. But for now, I'm going to set to, I'm going to drill and tap this and fit the T-piece, and then I'm going to measure up for my brake line, and I'll make another brake line, and when I make the next brake line I'll show you again how it's done, but I'll do it properly this time. As I say, I made a mistake when I did that first one that I showed you, because I was winding the banjo end in, and that's not how it's done. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking of when I did that, but I'll show you it again when I come and put this on. So I'll knock you off for now and get this drilled and tapped and get this T-piece fitted, and then get measurement, and when I'm starting to do this brake hose I'll come back and we'll film that. Right, back soon.